Ciao ragazzi! Here we are for our third part on Hermes, and this part is dedicated to his son Hermaphroditus. And so, this complex and hybrid creature that the ancient wanted to explain in some ways. So, and you have to reflect if this finally is a happy or a sad story. Let's see the story of Hermaphroditus. So, Hermes and Aphrodite met, and as a result of an affair in between the two, was born a son named Hermaphroditus. His name and his beauty too came from his parents. As you can see, the name is formed by Hermes and Aphrodite. So he will have the quality of both in the name and in the beauty. I'm sorry. My desktop is living by itself. So, and so we have this boy born from the two gods. So let's reflect on this. Hermes, it's a multifaceted god, and this is meaningful. And then Aphrodite is the goddess of hot pursuit, of love, forcing love. In this case, you will see it's a boy that's in a kind way raped by a woman because he is so beautiful and innocent. So the most famous version of the story comes from Ovid in his Metamorphoses, so in the time of the Romans. And this is to give an etiology for the creature that's called Hermaphrodite, hermaphrodite having both sexes, and to explain to why the spring Salmacis is believed to enervate those who were bathing in it. So the kid was brought up in a mountain cave. So the caves are always places where to bring babies to be protected. And he was brought there by nymphs, creatures that were kind of fairies, so protecting children in this case. And but when he became a young boy, 15, so for the Greeks, this was the age to leave home, he started to wander into unknown lands. And in his wanderings, he came to the coast of Asia Minor, modern Turkey, in the city of Halicarnassus. So there around, he discovered a very lovely, incredibly clean and clear pool of water that was all surrounded by fresh and green grass. Here is the meeting with Salmacis. So the spring is named after her. She was a nymph that inhabited the pool. So do you remember, nymphs were tree or water creatures? So she was inhabiting this pool in Halicarnassus. So she was a nymph, but she refused to hunt in the woods and to follow Artemis. And she preferred to remain around the pool, in her pool, and she was languishing there seductively on its green banks. Once, when she was picking flowers nearby, so around her own spring, she saw the divinely beautiful boy called Hermaphroditus. And she fell immediately in love with him, but not only in love, but with an irresistible desire to have him. So let's see who was Salmacis. We can see this from Ovid, book 4. And in this book, Ovid is saying in verses, "There dwelt a nymph, not up for hunting and archery, unfit for foot races. She the only Naiad, so a water nymph, not in Diana's band." So remember that the Romans were calling Artemis Diana. Often her sisters, so the other nymphs, would say, "Pick up the javelin or the quiver and interrupt your leisure for the chase." But she would not pick a javelin or arrows, nor trade leisure for the chase. Instead, she would bathe her beautiful limbs and tend to her hair with her waters as a mirror. So this is the story given by Ovid in his Metamorphoses, book 4, in the lines 306 to 312. So, because she was so in love with the boy, she carefully prepared herself and made herself as attractive as possible. And then, before she addressed him with this fervent declaration of love, she was preparing herself like this. Then she declared her love to the boy. And she insisted so much that this love must be consummated. The boy was scared and so blushed because he didn't know at all what love was. And so when she touched his body, his lovely neck, and demanded at least 4 kisses as those for a sister, he threatened so much to leave. You can see in how many paintings this story is portrayed with all the phases of this and the details of the story. Here is another painting showing Salmacis that, afraid to lose him, said to him that she would give to Hermaphroditus free access to the place. He could be there whenever he wanted to, and pretended to leave him alone, but she hid behind a grove of bushes nearby to watch the boy. At this point, Hermaphroditus threw off his clothes because he loved so much the pool. You remember he stopped there because of the beauty and how clear was the water. And Salmacis was completely overwhelmed by this sight and the sight of the complete naked body of the boy. So what happened? She completely lost her mind and grabbed hold of him, held him, enveloping completely with kisses and her arms, the boy, and he continued to struggle to be free, but Salmacis continued. So she at the end clung completely the body of Hermaphroditus with her own. And so what happened? They were so enveloped that the body was as one. So she wanted to remain like this forever, and so the gods listened to her, reflect about this. So men had to find a reason for the existence of these hybrid creatures, and in general of hybrid creatures and dual nature around the world. And so the gods granted her prayer that they never be separated again. At this point, you can see the creature in the sculpture below. The two bodies were joined together forever, and they no longer were boy or girl, but partook of both sexes. Now the parents of Hermaphroditus, so Hermes and Aphrodite, now the creature will be called so Hermaphrodite, granted the prayer of the boy that any man who bathed in this pool would emerge with limbs weakened or softened and but half a man. So this is the explanation of the legend about the pool called Salmacis. So here we can see two beautiful statues because these stories has been immortalized in many works of art. This is a beautiful statue and a sculpture of sleeping Hermaphroditus in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. So we cannot go in person, but I will show you some works of art there about mythology. So this is a sculpture of Roman art of the 1st, 2nd century AD. These are the most important centuries for in Roman art the representation of mythology. Another very famous sculpture about Hermaphroditus, here you have the two sides of it, is again a sleeping Hermaphroditus that's in the Louvre Museum in Paris, and it's in marble, is 100.69 meters long, so is life size, and it was found originally in the baths of Diocletian in Rome. So the baths created by this late emperor of Rome, near where is today the railway station, Termini station in Rome. This is a Roman copy of a Greek original of the 2nd century BC. The style is Hellenistic and was made as a copy in the 2nd century AD, as I was saying before. These are the most important periods for representing myths in Roman art. And so it's in the most important and grandiose period of Imperial Rome. Okay, so for this week we have finished. We will see with the next topics of next week, week 9. So stay tuned. Ciao, ciao ragazzi. See you soon.